I am so excited to come here for our second edition of our Everyday Black Men. This particular guest means a lot to me, so I'm excited about the energy. I'm Alicia Wade, one of the co-founders with the 5 Minute Career Hack. So I'll actually let me give a little background. Is that cool? I'll tell everybody why we're here.
Yeah,
Does it?
absolutely.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So at the 5 Minute Career Hack, we were really thinking about how we can make Black history our own, right? So
Mhm.
what we do at the 5 Minute Career Hack is we want to challenge everything we've been taught,
Yeah.
and we want to make sure that we tell our truth. So with that, we were thinking about how we can bring Black history to life on our page, and then the thought came to me around debunking myths and a perception around Black men. And I had an emotion there personally. And what I've been doing, and I think you and I talked about this before, when I have an
Mhm.
emotion about something, I personally feel like this is God nudging me to be the change that
Mhm.
I want. So
Yeah.
I'm personally committed to having a positive spin and perception, because I know a lot of awesome Black men that are great fathers, husbands, mentors, doing fantastic things in a lot of different industries. And that's how we came up and how we're here. So I'm excited about that. So tell us a little bit about you.
I'm Ron Everline. A lot of people know me as Boss. I am a trainer, entrepreneur, investor. A lot of different titles, but a man of God, most important.
That's awesome. How did you know when you say, like, when I saw a reaction when you said investor? So have you
Mhm.
added that to when you think about top things that you define yourself as?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked hard, so now I'm sitting. I invest and lead in a lot of different companies and advise and sit on boards. So it's exciting to be able to, speak in a mind frame to inspire people to not let people put you in a box and compartmentalize one sector of your life. So yes, I will speak the power of everything that I'm doing right now. No longer, segmented into one category. So I own. There's a lot of other titles, but like I said, but yes, I am excited about inspiring everyone with this with these roles I'm currently in.
Yeah, no, I saw a reaction. So that's why I said, okay, how does this feel to say that? Because sometimes, to your point, um, when we have to define ourselves by certain titles or even what we do, we can, and you can't define yourself by that, you really, to your point, start doing the work of who you are. So then the other
Yeah.
reaction when you said, most of all, man of God. So that's super dope. Thank you. So we're excited for you to be here. So let's get into a few things that I want to talk about today. Are we
Hmm.
okay on in regards, can you hear me okay?
I hear you totally fine.
Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure. So, one thing that I would like to start off our interview with today is I'm give a little background, and then you could tell me about your story. So, one
Okay.
thing that when we're doing interviews this month with Black men is really trying to get some understanding of when life sped up for you. So, I think a lot
Hmm.
of times we tell stories about how we made it out the mud. As Black people, I did it on my own. And I want you to think back in a time of when things accelerated for you, meaning like it made no damn sense about all the blessings that were dropping into your lap. And like maybe take us back to that. And what do you feel like changed, whether that's from a mindset, people you're around, but we would love to hear that story.
You know, in full transparency, because this is what this is about. Um, I don't look at the blessings as something that was just overloaded on me. Yet I was preparing for them throughout the course of everything God was putting me through at that time.
Yeah.
So I can't look at one moment of my life and say this is when all the blessings started to happen, because I was just so diligent and patient over the things that I currently had. And
Right.
so I was just walking into the blessings that God had for me because of the work I was doing. And so misunderstood, overly passionate, all the things that I would talk, that I was taught. They said I had, thinking of being able to create a training company was stupid, or being able to say I was an entrepreneur, to put people in positions to win. Who am I to do that? But I just stayed steadfast. I trusted the journey. So when things started to truly unfold until the world started to see it, I already saw God's blessings for me, even when they weren't here. But when the world started to see it, I stayed authentic to what the ground roots of what the reason why I was doing it. It wasn't about the things in the world seeing it. I had already become clear and happy about what God was doing for me. So I was just excited.
Yeah. Well, like I guess how did you maybe prepare yourself? Because that's a growth mindset, right? Of I'm gonna be on the grind, and grind meaning I'm gonna work on my craft
Mhm.
and really, to your point, bring into life what I already see. Was there? How did you, was there anything that you can think of that you were working on during that time, or do you feel like that's just how you're wired when you think about this growth mindset to bring together this vision that maybe was? It sounds like path uncharted.
Yeah, so I definitely feel like I'm wired this way.
Okay.
Coming from you're my cousin. If that you guys don't know, this is Alicia is my cousin. But coming from where I come from, I had a different background than you. My mom had 9 kids, and we didn't have it all, and so not based on circumstance, but based on what the appearance was. Um, I did have an idea contrary to what everyone else had an idea for me for my life. And so
Mm.
it was just constant practice and
Mm.
discipline. And so I heard it all. I heard that I wasn't equipped, but I never accepted it. I laughed at people in my spirit when they said I wasn't capable. Not laughed at them. I was laughing at the idea that I was going to show them the goodness of what I was going to be doing through God. And so I think I'm wired this way, and I don't know if that answers your question,
No,
but
it does. No, the reason why I ask that is because I think a lot of times, um, we see ourselves in someone, or maybe we don't. And I think
mhm.
somebody is going to watch this, in my opinion, and there's going to be some black little boy that is having the same experience and maybe thinking and doing. So when you share it out loud, the power that that can have. So that's why I asked, yeah, like what, and there's somebody that nobody's betting on, right? That's
Yeah,
going to resonate with your story. So that's why I asked, just where you feel like that came from for you.
yeah. It came from to be a little bit. It gives you a little bit more. I think losing my mom, I lost my mom at a young age. I truly live in the power of wanting her to be proud. So it was really never about anyone else. And I want my brothers and sisters to be proud. And I wanted to change. My family's life. And so I'm still working on that. And not just my mother's kids, everyone's life around me, whether it was financially, um, whether it was because of my hard work, whether it was my discipline, whether it was the currency of information and travel. I wanted to embark on new territory that people have never been able to touch. And so I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that and travel across the globe to Middle East and Asia and train people and now sitting on the board to represent companies and not to be put in a box. So that's where it comes from. And the power is in believing and knowing that all things are capable and you can do it. You just got to be willing to persevere long enough and withstand and to go through it. And no matter what it is,
Hmm.
sometimes you get to the goal that we want, but there's something in it for us.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for sharing that. Super dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, couple of questions for you. So, it's Black History Month. So, you ready to get into some good Black History moments?
Let's
Yes.
do it. Now, I'm
Yes.
going to be very clear. I am not a history buff, and if you're about to ask me some questions about
No.
people, I hope that.
No, 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 no. Let me tell you something. The real question in the story that you hear is because I really want the people to know. I have some thoughts, but I also just want to hear your perspective on how you represent Black history. So if you think about the legacy that you've had, so all these questions you're gonna be able to answer. Trust me.
Okay.
Because let me tell you something. I didn't want to pick any questions that people would go back to me and say, "Okay, so what's yours?" And you'd be like, "I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know." No,
Listen, I'm not going to be embarrassed. I'm going to just tell you wrong person.
exactly. Like that's not what I signed up for.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, no, but let's start from a positive place with this. Is can you think of a mentor or somebody in your life that you feel like really had an impact?
My brother. I go back to, there's a few people, right? I think about Darnell, about Uncle Ben. I saw your father.
Mhm.
I saw people um, working. I saw people investing their time into speaking to me just about opportunity. And so, yes, I go back to that. I don't think they knew what this world could be that I'm in. No one knew that we would go this far, but I took what they did and just added a little bit more flame to the fire and took it up.
Yeah, it's interesting the common thread in people that we're talking to about impact, and it's
Mhm.
two common things that I would say is a lot of times I found, at least in coaching, that people underestimate leadership in being, to your point, a brother, an
Mhm.
uncle, a father. They think leader is other things. So to your point, these roles equip us for those things. So to
Yeah.
see those men in those roles in your life be leaders, and to your point,
Yeah.
be that for you, but then also advocacy, right? It's
Yeah.
also a common thread of believing in somebody that maybe they don't even know that that's what you're doing. And we didn't have those words when we were growing up, ally. And it was just being a good brother, right? Being an
Yeah.
uncle. So for sure. Okay. So when you think in history, who would you say is your favorite? If you have a, you think about Black history, who would be someone that you would say, um, I don't want to use the word idol, but like when you think about someone that really made an impact that stands out to you?
Muhammad Ali.
How did I know you was gonna say that? When I was thinking the question, I said I know exactly who was gonna say. Let me see if he gonna prove me wrong.
Yeah, I proved you right.
Yes.
Muhammad Ali, just he stood for so much, and he
Yeah.
used his platform to sacrifice so much, and so um, I just admire the man that he was, and so despite anything else, what he represented and what he stood for was just incredible. He was a fighter in the ring and outside of the ring, and so he's someone that I look back to and say, man, you can stand on the stage and sacrifice it, and and you can risk it all to get it to gain everything if you depending on how you chose to go about it, choose to go about it.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that as I've learned more about him, obviously introduced through his accolades as an athlete and him being this jokester and things like that. But you really realize, I feel like his life in that public persona was truth in the just, right? Like he's joking, but he was dead serious about the stuff he was saying, and he was the
Yeah,
one laughing. you know? Yes.
absolutely. And it's funny because um, when you put it like that, I find so much. I'm nowhere near him, but I find so many similarities in how I act with people. I'm always clowning. I'm always joking, but I'm always serious
Yep.
about what I'm doing, and I'm always on point and intentional in everything that I have going on and what I'm saying. And so I can say "what up, bro" to a girl and just be joking, or say "hey, you stink," or "hey, what you." But in all, we can play all day long. And I can tell Kev to shut up, or I can tell, we can call each other, but I want to be very intentional on our purpose. And so that's everything for me.
Yeah, and that's why I thought of you when, I thought we only have 4 weeks. And I was like, you know what, if I can be honored that his schedule would open up for this, that's exactly why I thought you would be great at this. And we've had these conversations personally, is you're always on purpose.
Always on
Always
purpose.
on purpose. To your point, no matter where you are and what assignment that you're in, how low or high that people may see it, that's something I can say from a child. So
Yeah.
that's what I totally agree that your life is a testament of that for sure. So
Thank,
yeah.
thank you for having me. We'll continue, but this is exciting. I appreciate it. I'm proud to see everything you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's wrap it up with this. That's what I want to spend a little time on. When you think about your part in Black history, what
Mm-hmm.
what do you feel like maybe you're most proud of, or what your legacy would be as you look today when you think about the impact that you've had?
That's a really, really, really interesting question for me because I'm not doing it for any of that right now. My purpose right now is to touch the people that are listening. I don't. I will let the people define that moment for me. I can't define the moment. All I know is I just want to be a good steward. I
Yep.
want to. I want to be. I want to serve people. Um, I am in this world to serve. I am passionate, and don't get it twisted. I'm crazy. But I
No,
am.
that passion just feels it's so much of it, right? That
Yeah,
sometimes they can't,
yeah.
they not ready.
They're not ready. So it would be. I would think that I would let someone else describe what my legacy should be. I know what I'm doing. I know that I want people to know that discipline trumps all, and gratitude is one of the greatest human emotions, and that when you find yourself grateful, no matter where you are in life, you find solutions. And when you find yourself disciplined, you find yourself in opportunities. And so, I speak that power, and I tell people, if you don't have anything, ground yourself in discipline and be grateful for where you are, even if you're at the low. Because I remember when I was sleeping in my car, no one knew this, but I was happy because I would wake up to go on my gym because I was like, this low. Oh, well, I'm just gonna keep working, and something's gonna come happen. If this is the bottom, I'm going up because I'm already hit. I'm already here. You
Right,
know.
right, right.
So yeah. If I can, all I just want to continue to echo discipline and gratitude.
Yeah.
And that continues with this podcast and many more. The message just gets out. What I stood for was discipline and being grateful, because I'm so grateful, and I'm so thankful, which means that's why I'm going to be disciplined in what I have. I'm going to continue to try to build on it and create. I'm not just trying to create opportunities for myself. I think a lot of people don't know is that we do have this training company, and there's trainers and chefs and a lot of therapists that do work under the brand. I just want to create so much for more people, and it's a lot for me. It's been a lot, but that is what my work is. And when I feel like, man, I want to give up, I go, nah. Your purpose is to do more for others than you're trying to do for yourself. And so, um, I'll let the people define that.
Yeah. What I hear is, to your point, when you truly have a servant's leadership, whatever is needed for that person is where you're showing up and how they're going to define it. But to your point, how you're defining your legacy is discipline, right? Because there's a rigor around what you do, and a commitment to that. Because I tell people all the time, discipline is when motivation wears off, when it's not fun anymore, when I'm tired, when people are talking about me, when I'm not the star. That's discipline. So I think that is an amazing legacy, and gratitude, being grateful for all the things you have. So thank you for sharing that. So before we wrap up, you can ask me any questions or anything that you want to share before we wrap up.
Yeah, I think you put me on the spot. What what inspired you? Um, I know you to be an amazing athlete, amazing mom, wife, and all these amazing things, but never knew you wanted to be an entrepreneur
Mm.
or speaker. Or I've heard you talk about greatness all the time. Most people, I'm not sure if they know about how fast you were. You see me smoking people, but you know,
You was
um,
wrong for that one today, though. That right
yeah,
there, you didn't have to do that lady like that. But we'll leave that to the side.
but considering your past, watching you grow up in the track Houston, I think that's what it was,
Hmm.
and going to the University of Oklahoma, and then choosing the path that you chose to, and now this new shift. What was it? How can you? What was that thing that said, I'm going to take this fake. I'm going to jump out here and I'm going to try this, and despite having everything else you got going on.
Yeah.
What transition, because you've always had the go getter. You've been an elite athlete. We come from a long list of family members. You're a leader of that. How did that shift for you?
Yeah. You know, um, to your point of putting on the spot, I wasn't prepared for this, so it's coming from the heart. So I love it. This is a true 5 minute career hack fashion. I'll say probably after sports, um, as an athlete, there really wasn't a plan. I'll say that. So I thought I was going to be this lawyer. I thought I was going to do this. And I just kept changing with pivots as I learned, right? So it's like, oh, I know I don't want to go to school for another 3 or 4 years. So I went and got my MBA. And people would see, like, oh, and I say that because I continued to fail forward. It was like I didn't really go to college and know what my major was going to be. I had an idea, but okay, so I just kept taking classes and I got 2 degrees. Then I went and got my master's, and then when I finished, it was like, now what? Like, my life is a series of now what. And being in retail, as was never my goal, but I always had a mindset of, I'm going to grow where I'm planted. And I think that to fast forward to this phase right now, I see so many. I'm an inspiration for people, and that's, to your point, not my goal, but they see themselves in me. There's no other Black woman. There is no other woman, or even, now. my path and things like that, connect with people. And I think it was that calling of like, you know what, being that for other people and continue. I've always got pushed, and you know this as well, similar,
Yeah.
people push you to the front. And I think the change now for me was really in some self reflection. And you and I had this conversation of those. I realized a lot of times people say, God told me this.
Hmm.
I didn't get that until I realized those things that were angst, or like I had a thought of, why didn't somebody do that? Or why isn't
Yeah.
this here? I realized that was for me to do. And that's
Yeah.
what's pushed me into this space of I've been exposed to a lot of amazing bosses and a lot of great leaders, but I've also probably equally had some pretty shitty, excuse my language, people that was just jerks. And I thought,
Hmm.
like, how did they get here? How did they get in this role? And that's what's got me in this space of like how I can coach people up and then also
Yeah.
be able to do that. So that's really, I'll say I fell forward. I continue to just keep moving with what was thrown my way.
I love that. I think I stand on fail forward. A lot of people don't really understand what that means, but I think those are one of those things you can't look up in the dictionary. But fail forward is so um, it needs to be at the forefront of people's mind when they take opportunity and risk.
Yes.
You got to be willing to forward and be willing to fail in order to grow.
Yeah.
You know.
And if you haven't
Um,
failed, people, I was so ashamed of that. And I think as an athlete, like you never set that goal. You set a goal to win, to
yeah.
dominate, right? Like if you're an athlete, that get to your point, your energy,
Yeah.
I feel that because it's like, what do you mean you starting to not be the best? Why are we here, right? So when you had that
Yeah.
mentality, you do that. But people that look back on their life and say they didn't have failure, that means they didn't try, which is even worse.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely. I totally agree. Totally agree. I love. I'm failing today. I'm still failing. I'm so thankful for it all. And so to hear you say that means a lot to me, and I'm so thankful for you. And all our conversations offline. But yeah, Alicia, that's amazing.
awesome. Well, I want to thank you for your life. I want to thank you for being an amazing husband, for being an
And
amazing father. Now, adding that to the mix, it's so exciting seeing you in this phase.
yeah,
And to your point, in all of the business ventures, right? For starting there and being able to multiply that. So, this is our everyday black man here that we're doing in our live cast with. Oh, did I lose you?
I say one thing.
Absolutely.
I learned this. And it says all the titles in the world don't matter because
Mhm.
they're in it.
Yes.
What we character.
Yes.
I own father. I own it. Everything else is a rented title.
Yep.
You have to own your character and who you're grounded in. And so, if I can leave people with anything, own your character. All your titles, all the CEOs, director of this, that's a rented title you can change. But what you can't change is what you're grounded in your principles. So, that's
What
it.
is no better way to end. This has been our weekly Black Man highlight that we have with the 5 Minute Career Hack here with Ronald Boss Everline, leaving us with really examining our character and thinking about how we own that. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Alicia.